and Drinks now. Cabochon Lil's grabbed the lead and Cabochon Lil forges clear. Cabochon Lil defeated Jinx and Drinks and...
On, but Shakiro's nicely clear in the breeder's plate, and Shakiro goes on to be Construct. Getting up to run third was Astrologer.
Spookwood have come together, battling back Bush Icon. Bush Icon responding. Spookwood, Bush Icon. Oh, there's nothing in it. Spookwood, if anything.
Asa and Kemantari, dollar for dollar, and Zutori, dollar for dollar. Zutori just in front, and Zutori has just won.
G'day punters, welcome to the deep dive. Jack Dickens has just let rip with some good banter, so that's okay. We'll try and recreate it just now. But welcome, first of all, to Josh. Josh, good to have you back on board. This time we didn't forget to actually call you, so apologies for last week.
That's all good. Cheers, Pete.
That is actually true. We kind of forgot that we were going to get Josh on week in, week out until we had already done the show and he said he was just waiting. Dickens, how are you going?
I'm good. Excited. Love, in ISO, I used to sort of see, I still see you heaps. I see your evolution from sort of Bernard Fanning to sort of Hutcho sort of behaviour. I like zooming in and catching Barco, listening to Atho. Turn it down, please, Barco. We're trying to record some Victorian Racing's only independent content. So if you could keep that quiet, Barco, and stop complaining about when I ask you to be quiet because we're recording a show, that'd be great. But I also like to touch base with Josh because you see Josh like 2 or 3 times a week in person, and he's going through a few changes as a man throughout this sort of isolation. He's evolved into the beard. Now, he's just been to the barber because I'm a bit older than Josh, and I've done it. When you go into the barber and you get the hair done, the top, you say, look, just tidy that up. And they say, well, do you want me to do something to the beard? You say, oh, just a little bit. You walk out of there, all of a sudden, it looks like they've got the mower out and they've just finally done it all the way around. You start to go into Chuck Norris territory. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, look, I don't feel great because I've done it. It's a self job. And
self.
I've done the bottom and it's sort of like really lots of wisdom at the bottom, but not on the sides. Sort of like how I am in life. I've got a lot of wisdom in my feet. I can run, but not a good around the sides.
Thankfully, Josh is. Well, I am incredibly hairy, but Josh is easily the hairiest person on this show. So a couple of days, you'll be back.
World's greatest shave. Look out! We'll end up one of those cats, like a sphinx. That's probably what Walshy owns, doesn't he? He owns like a sphinx type.
Oh,
cat.
he was very good on Thursday night, but he was probably better personally yesterday, wasn't he, Pete? He sent us some light reading again about aliens. He goes, there's 4 types. There's like 2 of them look like lizards, like man lizards. He goes, I don't think they're real, but the tall greys definitely are.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Am I lying, Peter?
No, you're not. I wish you were, but it's just Jonathan
And
Walsh.
also just an update for the Wish guys. On Friday morning, he did throw up the 2 cruisers and a couple of those boars into the garden for fertiliser.
He was in some of his
So he
finest
kicked
form.
on till about 10:30 watching.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about some ponies, some horses. Let's start with 2 of these questions, Pete. I've got on paper so I don't forget them because we like the questions. No emails this week that I've seen. But firstly, we're going to talk about 2 jockeys, Damien Oliver, but we'll start with Willie Pike. Pete,
Yes.
you kick off. So the questions are, there's a couple like around his performances, the longer he stays here in Melbourne, is he getting worse? Blah, blah, blah.
I don't have the question in front of me. You want to read it for me?
Pike's performances, is he getting worse the longer he stays in Melbourne? And also, Ollie's riding Vow & Declare in the Caulfield Cup. Do you give it any hope? It was a strange ride on it yesterday from Reese.
Okay. First of all, with Pike, I don't think he's getting worse. I think it's just the same level that he's always at. The difference is that he's not riding the best horse in every race by, a significant margin. Like, he's now riding inferior runners, and he can't just sit there and assume that he's going to get a clear run at some point because all the other jockeys aren't as talented as what he is. Even with my own stuff, I would try and... The first thing I'd do when I was looking at a market is, can I get the favourite beaten, which usually means, can I get Pike beaten? And almost every single race, I'd try and do that as a starting point. So nothing's changed for me. It's just that he's in a far bigger pool over here, and he's clearly not going to be able to do his wizardry, so to speak, time in, time out.
Josh?
Yeah, I think I'm with Pete as well. He just doesn't get given, like he's not riding all the Peters runners, especially like the up and comers through the maidens and stuff over there. Like he does it back in Perth. He's ridden, he's had a book of rides on Saturday, just trying to count. I think he just didn't ride in one race or two races. He might not have had a ride. He hasn't placed over the weekend. But the lowest of his odds was Perfect Jewel, $3.50. Got too far back. He gets too far back on a lot because I think he thinks that, like, every time I watch Perth racing, which is not nearly as much as Pete, he seems to just fly like late and just get over the top of him.
Yeah.
And sometimes he can't do that, especially like with like Moonee Valley, Caulfield. Surprised he didn't get a winner, like doing that sort of at Flemington. But like in the Australia Cup, what was the runner that he rode in that, Pete? I always get them mixed up. That
Superstorm.
won it. Superstorm.
Slaughtered it.
No, but like at the start when he won on it, beat 50 Stars. Like that's sort of the ride.
Oh, Regal Power.
Regal Power, yeah. So when he rode that, that's sort of the ride he looks for to come over the top. But yeah, like he is getting given as many rides, and the rides aren't as good. He's got 2 in on Wednesday already. I've just seen come up on his puntingform.com.au profile, which you'll get if you have a subscription. He's got 2 rides, one for Smart and one for Busselton and Young, who are now flying. But yeah, they're just not. He's not getting big stable rides really. At the end of the day,
he's still riding like Perfect Jewel's $3.30. He's not. He's on good horses.
Yeah.
I think he is like B to C grade. He has made a number of like just tactical errors repeatedly. He was so bad on Manikato night. It was just beyond fucking belief. You could not bet into the last race when he was riding the favourite and Mystic Journey around the top of it. And he actually gave it a good ride. But I've got no confidence he's going to do the right thing.
I was watching his ride on Ciurleo on the weekend, and I thought,
like, he's shown intent on that horse 2 starts this prep. If he shows intent, he probably sits outside Persan. I thought that was just like beyond belief dumb.
Yeah, it's drawn 10. Not the great draw, but yeah, still should be able to. There wasn't a whole lot of speed in the race, and yeah, now it's probably cost it race. Look, I thought it was still super. I thought Ciurleo when it was not entitled to. Good last section in last 200 of the race, sort of. But yeah,
I thought Ciurleo was enormous.
But yeah, he sort of relies on those ones that just have ability to hit the line so strong, really. Yeah, I can't really remember when he was on a horse that shows a lot of tactical speed. Looks like Friday night monetising. He led on that. That's got beat at $5. So yeah.
The things that I don't understand is like, say Queen of Rocks, right? Race 5. We've had one other race so far around the circle where the 3 place getters settled rails and run from the wind. He's at a barrier 3 and he's not on the fence. So he's also not only not on the fence, but he's going to get that wash back from the horses that he's outside lead and 3 wide.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I couldn't believe where he was. When I reviewed the race, I could not believe where he was.
Is he a track walker back in Perth, Pete? Or does he use someone else?
From what I understand, he's not a track walker.
Interesting.
But I mean, like in WA, I really sort of would. I mean, you see some of the jockeys walking the track, but it's nowhere near as meticulous as when you see Craig Williams or Dwayne Dunn walking the track before like a meeting at Sandown. It's chalk and cheese, really. And that probably sums up the difference between the 2 states.
Of course, we know what will happen now is he'll probably come out on Wednesday or Saturday and write 4 winners. But as it stands, he's out of form badly.
Well,
obviously he can ride. Like, he won the All-Star Mile. He can ride. But for whatever reason, and it, like, if I moved from Perth to come here, I wouldn't be sweet mentally either. Like, what a shithole. There was like 40,000 people at the footy on Saturday night in Perth. He's just riding here in track work and then probably in some apartment coffin. Awful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you even just look at his raw numbers. Last 50 riders, 6 seconds, 6/3. He's going at 10% win strike rate, whereas his last 12 months, it's 27.4%. So it just probably sums up what we're saying.
Ollie,
right.
Let's talk about Ollie. There's a lot of tweeting about it. There's a lot
Yep.
of talk on RSN this morning about it. Let's go through some of the rides. So, race 9, Young Werther, who I think might be the best horse out of this whole meeting, which is a big call, obviously. But if you watch the Stewards Vision, I thought about not giving this away, but this is, you watch how he's riding the horse and he's just got to yank it because the horse isn't going straight. That's why he's losing momentum. He almost took out the 16. Like he almost took out Craig Newitt, and he had to protect Craig, or almost put him through the fence and himself. That's why the horse lost momentum. It's not his decision. It's the horse going where it went. He's drawn barrier 5. He's jumped, put the horse 3 back, 1 off. I don't imagine any of us predicted it'd be any better position than that. I think it was a great position for that horse. It's late in bad. When this horse gets a gear change, which it will next start, it'll kill whatever it races. This was a big performance, this horse. Didn't go straight and still almost won. There was a blow up about that ride. It's like, it frustrates me the way that some ride, like he cops it, and they all should cop it. Don't get me wrong. We give it to jockeys more than anyone. But you've got to watch the race and go, well, the fact that I've bet on this horse is irrelevant. He's jumped, put the horse in the A grade spot from barrier 5. That horse is like 1 and only start. It was in the worst position. So you're blessed already. Then the horse was laid in bad. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah. That's just I just think that's good horsemanship to get that sort of horse straight, because you get a young inexperienced apprentice, and nothing against apprentices, they do what they can, but they wouldn't be able to control that and get to where that finished. So that's just good horsemanship, I think, by Ollie to get that over the line into second. When like you said, clearly needs a gear change, needs some blinkers on, and I'll be hitting the line pretty strong next start over further.
Well, proper set of pipes. I know Stephen Baxter was the original Ninja Warrior, but if Ollie felt like doing that show, he'd be favourite. I'm telling you, biggest set of pipes in racing, D. Oliver. Luke Currie, pretty brazen, since we're talking about jockeys. What?
Speechless.
Anything?
I was going to say keep going because
There's 3 rides on Saturday and I backed them all, which shit me the most. Luke Currie, I'm pretty brazen. I'm not sure if Luke's back yet. He's a very, very good rider. Like, obviously, jumped, put the horse on the bunny, meteorite Friday night and held on. Beautiful ride. But just got a pair or two far back here in the ruck. Then he's coming into the straight. He's got Fidelia behind him. I don't think you want to roll in on him. And there's a couple of tweets about safe riding, mainly about Ollie. They're all riding safe because they don't want to get rubbed out, because this is when they make all their money. So they're going to be safe. They're always, and they should be safe. But maybe you want to roll in on Fidelia. If you watch the stewards and then watch the replay, you'll see what I'm trying to say. Why he didn't go up the inside, like where Sierra Sue went, beyond me. We're back to, I think it was stiff, pretty brazen. Brett Preble on Admire Robson. Holy shit. His rails and run, A-grade ground, peels out into the absolute, like, the surf. It's just like foaming everywhere. He's just trying to like bus ride his way through it to get to the line. This horse has gone enormous. I think it should have won. If he holds the fence, it probably wins. It was well back. I think Admire Robson, if the tracks stay firm, can be back next start. And then Willow on Surprise Baby did the same thing. I don't reckon it's millions that Prushka sack Willow. If he holds the fence, I think Surprise Baby kills him. It's flown home still somehow. And he's pushed it all through all this traffic. Like it's risky ride.
I think he tried to sort of outsmart himself there. He thought, right, you beauty, I'm just going to follow like all these well fancied chances, like Very Elegant, Master of Wine, Superstorm, and then Master of Wine just did nothing and just sat there like the slug that it is, and like Willow's just like flopping around, just doing nothing. But you're exactly right. If you held the inside ground, and to that point of the day, it clearly looked like that was going a bit better than everywhere else.
Because what happens, in my opinion, is they peel out when it's windy. It's real windy on Saturday, so it's very hard to lead. But they peel out and they all take their time to let their horse go because they're all worried about the wind. So you can't just be on the back of them. And if you're one back in the line, you might get enough time. If you're two back, you probably won't. Three back, you cast. So if it's no wind, Willow's ride probably is all right. But when it's wind and they're all actually doing the same thing, you think being Craig Williams, one of the best, just think up the inside like Mick D did on Toffee Tongue.
He's already at the top of the straight. He's already 4 off the rail, so it's a bit hard to. It's got a lot of horse under him, but hard to get it back to the rail, I guess. When you're that far out. But interesting with the wind, I thought the way that Damien Lane, personally speaking from Kick Talk, is iconoclasm in, was it race 2? No, might have been race 3. But it was interesting how he peeled out, and I think he actually went too soon, which was I thought it was a great ride. He peels out, he gets the run, which is the right thing to do because otherwise you're going to get coffined all the way up straight. And then I don't know if the wind hit it or whatever, but this horse has just stopped. Everything else in front of it and around it stopped as well. But Galloway and Be Good to Your Mother, they ended up finishing 9th and 10th, and they were both 1st and 2nd in the run. But I thought his ride on it was super. It's gone super. I liked it going back to the 1400 sort of trip and everything. But yeah, just interesting with the wind that like it came out and then I was like, oh shit, there's a bit of a wind. I don't know which way I was hitting him in the straight at that race, but it wasn't really effective. It was hitting him from the side sort of. But I think this clearly was not just pace related, but it was a bit wind related as well. How it hit the runner and it just sort of peaked on its run just a bit too early, and riddle me that got over the top. But
I thought it was
fascinating.
Outstanding ride, Johnny Allen. Like drawn 10, got back to the fence. He got covered from the wind for the longest in this race, and the horse has savaged it.
Yeah.
Whether it's savaged it as much as it has because it's had the best, most economical run from the wind, time will tell.
And pace.
Outstanding ride, John Allen. Probably the run of the race with a jockey switch could be a big bet next start. Galaxy Raider had no favours. Pike stick to last, widest, good home. I thought Galaxy Raider was probably the run of the race in that race. Outside of probably Best of Days. Best of Days is the obvious one. You're not going to get anything of juice next start.
I thought Galaxy Raider. I almost wanted to win that race given the pace and the way that they finished off. So. Yeah, they've gone very slow, but something's allowed the back markers to get into it, whether or not that's an anchor drop in the middle. But yeah, I thought it probably should have finished better, given the way that Best of Days.
Galaxy Raider, the horse that you thought you bought?
Potentially.
Who'd you end up with?
We won't go into that too much detail.
Okay.
I think they were both from. I think the one that I got was a ex-Beg horse. But when we looked at the punting form figures, there's about 10 lengths between them. But God bless Mitchell Beer. He'll turn it into something good. He might improve at 10 lengths. So who knows?
Yeah, indeed. Look, we'll jump back to the Turnbull for a sec because we need to have a look at some of these horses going forward. It was a Group 1. It was a slow bunched field. I did refer to Master of Wine as a slug, but it still did manage to find itself in a reasonable finishing spot, only 1 length off them in 5th. Who are we following going forward?
Pretty good ride, Michael Ride. It was on the fence, and he got out like in that first lot of them. I thought, I'm not going to back him. He's going good. I'll be interested to see what Josh would say here because there's 1 length covering the first 6 horses.
Yeah. Terrible margins. Terrible margins. They've run, just looking at the punting form data on the race, they ran, They ran okay time, but
They've run it like a 10.7. No, it's not okay. It's not.
No, it's about.
This is a good 3. They've run a 10.7.
It's probably four lengths off of a Group 1.
Bad as Very Elegant's gone in those last sort of 5 runs.
Yeah, that's why it's it's that. I thought the ride on Very Elegant was super. Sat wide. I like that. There was a couple. Thermosphere sat wide as well and one into the wind. I don't know what to make of it because I thought you got to be giving more merit to these runners with the wind going down the side. So I thought heading into that wind that Thermosphere and both Very Elegant super when they faced it. It was into a slow pace, yes, but I thought it was super. Toffee Tongue had that run up the rail. Toffee Tongue's come second, and I don't think that was the winner of the Australasian Oaks. And I don't know, I don't know what to make of that. But Finch is also, I think, a pretty good runner.
I think Finch is. I thought Finch went better than Very Elegant. It towed Very Elegant into the race, into the win.
Yeah,
it was a bigger run. I was glad Toffee Tongue. No, I wasn't glad, but I almost sent it as a bet, and I launched in play, the sort of when they're about 600 metres out, and it was much more closer to the lead than I thought, and it was where I wanted to be, which was Rails and Run.
Yeah.
Well, Jay Walsh, under the influence of 4 bores, managed to fire out Toffee Tongue there on Thursday night for those tuning in. So props to you, Walshy. Outstanding pick.
The dulcet tones of Matthew Hill when he just goes, the mare's won it. And you're like, is that Toffee Tongue or Very Elegant? There's 2 of them. It's a weird call to make. I was like, Winks is not in this race. She's on. The mare. It was quite fun. It was a good call.
But back to the race though, even Ocean X, it's faced the breeze the whole way, so you can forgive it and it's run second last. Actau had its head ripped off the entire way around. Forgiving it.
Yeah.
Down to Claire, it was looked like it was gone, then kept finding.
How about Mellum? I haven't actually noticed. I'm not a whip counter, but Mellum got fined for over whipping Finch, which is weird. When Finch would be aimed at a Melbourne Cup or something like that, to over whip it today. I don't know, but it's just a slip of the mind. I can't speak because I'm not a jockey, but just trying to win on it. I thought Dalasan was huge. Everyone's talking about warning, flashing light run off of a slow pace. It's 19th in nominations in the Caulfield Cup, carrying 53. So I'm guessing it'll go there. It'll get a run, as there's some Aidan O'Brien runners that are ahead of it, but I don't think they've come out. So it should get a run in the Caulfield Cup, carrying 53. Interesting, but
just Ben Mellum there.
Darcy Brahma in the background.
He weighs more than Ben Mellum, I'll tell you.
Josh, we'll touch on another race as well. Jack Dickens is attending to young Darcy. The Bart Cummings, conversely, compared with the Turnbull, they've gone quick here. They've gone 4 lengths fast to the 600. Good tempo. What are you following? Persans just continues to keep winning.
I'd just like to say, what a training performance for this horse. It's now
unbelievable,
10th up in its preparation. It's coming off its maiden. It's won its maiden this prep. Now it's got a spot in the Melbourne Cup. I know it's had 10 runs since it, so it's hard to quantify it, but I don't know how many horses would have done that in the same preparation they're going to go into Melbourne Cup. This is it's unreal. Props to that stable.
We backed this horse. That's how. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
John McNeil gave it a fucking peach.
Yeah, he's just and he came out that small, the lower barriers. He just didn't want to be wide, and it was interesting. Didn't want to be wide in the straight, trying to make a run over the top. Shabao, like we said, I think you can sort of forgive it. Just the way it definitely had excuses in the run. Sound was a peach of a ride. I like this horse pre-race. I thought the way it hit the line at Moonee Valley was super. Jamie Carr's done everything she could. Looked the winner for a little bit, and then Person over the top. So it's been super tough. Sound. It's rock hard fit. Not sure where they go with sound. Be interesting to see. Admire Robson, like we said, super.
Holy shit.
Supergirl was super as well, wasn't it?
Oh, holy shit. Well, it just shows some fucking intent. Supergirl's run a giant figure for it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a horse that fascinates me here. Hacky.
I half like this horse pre-race.
Yeah,
'cause
but
I thought
it's a leader. It's a leader.
Yeah.
They don't show any intent. You watch, you see him go like a Geelong Cup or something, lead and probably win.
Well, it won the. What did it win last year? Oh no, it won this year. It won in April over the same
William
track.
Newton, yeah.
Yeah, same track and trips. I thought.
But we're back there. We were there. That was back when we were allowed to go, wasn't it?
No, that was April.
No, this was Anzac Day at 1. So we definitely weren't there. But a horse, yeah.
Oh no, but we still. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, they need to get a better, bit of intent and a better draw, and that'll be rock hard fit probably. When it's not ridden upside down.
Shan Ambition went good. Did a lot of work.
Yep. Well, I thought it was interesting. They took that down here over the shit draw that it had in the Metrop. Probably would have had a lot of pain and just hit the line again, like it does in Sydney. Getting too far back up there. Yeah, nothing much from me. I can't believe Credence has finished 6th. I just think, I just don't have a massive rap on the horse.
Like it was pretty strong this last 200. Like I think both of these races are sus.
Be interesting to see what wins in the spring out of these races. I would.
Yeah. Last year they were really good references. So interesting.
Yeah, it was one of these last year. One of the OTI horses of Aidan's O'Brien's. And what was that thing called?
Downdraft.
Yeah, or was that the Lexus?
Downdraft got beaten at Moonee Valley.
Yeah.
Paraded walked like a moral.
Beast.
And then it went to Flemington and got it done for us.
Yep.
We followed our money.
Yeah. Yep.
Guys, let's talk about race 2, the Poseidon Stakes, because September runs recorded the biggest figure on the card.
Oh, how grey. Like, I made a massive, massive error here. Went back and looked at the way that I, essentially do my prices, and everything said this horse was probably going to win. The way the stuff that I use, the information that I require to form my opinions, and I just couldn't get Valaquenda's run at Caulfield, where I thought it was way against the pattern and the bias out of my head. This horse has killed him. It's run the biggest figure of the whole day, 14.1. It's enormous. So, like, on the day, this is run a 14.1. Zutori ran a 13.7. Persan a 14. They're the 3 biggest races on the day. This is the biggest. This race has to be good, doesn't it?
You'd think so. I think September run's heading for a Coolmore now. It is just absolutely, you cannot say it's not going to love the straight in the Coolmore, and probably a weaker Coolmore than previous years. I think Anders is favourite, which will be interesting. I'm actually pretty excited for that, to see September run and Anders go at it, because there'll be a lot of speed on if Anders is likes to run along. September run will be coming over the top plate. So sort of excited for that sort of weaker version of the Coolmore if they head that way. Maha was strong off the fast pace.
Oh, wow, big run.
Big run, so I'll be definitely following it. Menage, one for me that I love, was on it, but probably, not suited with the pace. Yeah, like to see
Menage's run is improved like 8 lengths. Like,
definitely, yeah.
I wouldn't beat yourself up about that. Like,
yeah, but it probably needs that. The time it won at Flemington was more of a, obviously a bit slower pace, only a little bit slower pace than this race actually. I thought it was brave there. It beat Muntasira, but shows what the form lines are like against some of these 3-year-olds now.
Yeah, they're just sort of starting to take shape. I zigged when I should have zagged. on Saturday. Like Kalgoorlie brought the biggest figure into the race of the recent runs, and improved the least. It's still improved, but
I just find it hard to back a horse like $2.50 next start. It's SP $2.50 on Saturday, coming out of a race where it was like $15. I think it was even longer like on opening.
That's the factor that sort of was a deciding one for me to let it go and bet into the race. And
it's.
But there's all those other little factors that we know that we're not going to talk about that were there, and
But it just goes to show how strong this Dame Giselle Thermosphere form line is, because it ran against those first up, came fifth behind them. They're just so strong.
Yeah, well, Thermosphere's, I'd say, like just behind Young Werther for me is like run of the day.
Yeah, same. I think Thermosphere for me was just huge. It's going to back up next week in the 1,000 guineas. It will be super. I think it was $15 on offer. Not sure with these young horses though how they back up. It's up to its fifth run into the prep now. So getting a bit worried, when they're lightly raced young, what it'll do next week on a backup.
Well, just watch the betting late punters, because if there's a stable in the world that tells you what's going to happen more than the Dolphin, inbox me and let me know, because I haven't found them yet. Just watch Hilo and Theory last race at Rosehill Randwick.
Don't bring that up again. I've already had to talk about it once today. I don't want to do it again. Just it was dead. Zatori. It was funny, wasn't it? Like those two straight races, they've gone really fast down the straight, and we've often seen some of those tempos can just be completely random, either dead walking or just like insanely quick. But both of them were really fast. Zatori's just recorded another really big, strong figure. Just loves the straight.
Huge.
Fascinated that after the race they were talking about going to the mile.
Yeah, don't know. Why wouldn't you just keep it down the straight for those really nice Cup week races?
Yeah, like
if I was talking to them, I'd just say just give it a couple of weeks off. Fresh bang.
Yeah, this is what they did last year. They went straight into the Tab Stakes, came third behind Camel Passer. It was such an ordinary race, I think, but same prize money as Saturday. And then went to the Darley Sprint, which is just the path you take, because it's just a genuine. It likes Caulfield as well, but it's just a genuine Flemington straight tracker.
Yeah, we're back to the Caulfield at like. Remember, we're back to the like
40s,
50s or something. Yeah, 40s, and it should have won. That was one of the rare bad rides from Jay Carr, who's fucking airborne, man.
Yeah, in the Oakley plate behind Pippi.
Oh.
What else are we looking at in this race? You had Tafane, you had Santa Ana Lane. Kementari half loomed like he tends to do with Pike on board, and then remembered who he was.
Wasn't that grouse? Like, they backed it again, the sick pups, and like 400 out, they would have probably traded real short.
Yeah.
Hopefully some dirty, filthy dog with a fast feed backed it into poisonous odds, and they did their ass. And then just stopped. The track and trip horses at Flemington down the straight, you need to be really positive about them.
Definitely.
Camel Passer was that horse outside of Zatori, ran well, dollar for dollar flying. Tafane, they're bagging this ride. Like, where's he supposed to go?
Yeah.
Got a $30 shot outside of him. He wants to get to the good ground. Kept going.
Yeah, definitely follow
You're backing a horse that's going to settle worse in midfield. It needs luck.
Yeah.
No rider in Australia right now, well, no Melbourne, is going to push out and risk getting rubbed out.
For saying that, you're in a 9-horse field down a 20 lane. There's probably 20 lanes in the Flemington Straight. Like, there is a bit more. There is a lot of room. But
there's the great wind factor. So he's cuddled up in the wind. Yeah.
I thought Santa, good lead-in run for the Everest.
Perfect run. I agree.
Was never going to win. Not a first up. not really a first up horse. Did all right last prep when it went first up, but
and the odd horse here was 50 stars, and it's gone pretty good. Like,
yeah, it was never
up in trip next start. Bet.
For sure. It was just like I actually don't know why they put it over first up over 1200. But there must be
Dad's in Hong Kong, so they can do whatever they want now.
They must have it's won its maiden over 1200, and it's like run 1200 once again in its life, and then that's about it. But interesting to see where it goes. They went to the Cantala last year, came second to Fierce Impact, which was a massive run. So it could be on that journey again.
All right, very good. Josh, are you following anything out of the meeting? Can you stamp 1 or 2 or something for us?
Probably Finch. Thermosphere, I would say, but I don't really want to back it. Like I said, my reasons for not backing it next week.
Yep.
Just sometimes those tough runs on a quick backup might undo a horse. One that I thought will take with the improvement is Munitions, the French runner for Godolphin. I thought it had every possible, but its trials have been ordinary. Keep watching it in the spring. Other than that, not much for me.
All right. Dickens, you're flying. You had a good week. Strong September, 25% pot, I think. And then Movers did well on Saturday. Just warming yourself up.
We're going good. We're going really good. If I could just listen to what I've done, I would have gone better on Saturday, like September run. We gave away 2 or 3 units that race. I'm still shitty about that. Anyway, happy with how we're going. I think Young Werther's the horse to follow from Flemington there.
All right, good. Joining us live from Beaudesert is the man in the hat, Ciurleo. He's here to deliver the grouse mail for the mailbag and for his subscribers. Well,
hey mate, you'll have to just bear with me a bit here. I'm trying to listen to you and listen and trying not to get too focused on the 50 people on course here at Beaudesert. There's a bit going on. It's a public holiday in Queensland, so we expect a decent crowd here today, but it's a bit quiet so far. Looking forward to the day.
Well, let's run through Eagle Farm Saturday, race 6, Spurcraft, Usmanov, Emerald Kingdom. Just give us your thoughts.
Yeah, look, thanks. Good place to start. Not great up about this race at all. Had 2 bets in this race. Good bet Usmanov, basically, and Emerald Kingdom. Thought they were the 2 clear horses in the race. We've run 2nd and 3rd, and Spurcraft, who's gone sort of back from last and rounded us up. Spurcraft's issues have been well documented. Had a breathing issue, etc. Had a tie back, changed trainers. This horse, ran a really good figure when it won at Doomben back in December last year, but it's had a fair few issues since. And everything it's done has regressed terribly from its run that day. Well, it's turned its form around. It's improved 10 lengths on its first up run, and improved 7 lengths on anything it did last preparation after that first up effort that it put in. So, how it's turned its form around, I don't know. It's one of the great mysteries of Queensland. It's just completely blew us out of the water. I'm not really over it yet. I don't know what to make of the race. I'm going to pen Usmanov. I think he's built like Tarzan and has the heart of Jane, so I've penned him. Emerald Kingdom will be okay out of that race. If Spurcraft continues to produce figures of 10 lengths better than benchmark, it'll win again. But I just, staggering result that on the day. Couldn't believe it.
Okay, good. Desert Lord, max bet for DVD and R. Maloney.
Yeah, well, this thing sort of ran basically up to its first up run. It hasn't improved. I just anticipated the DVD 28 days between runs with the barrier trial might do enough. I was heavily against the winner, the Harrovian. I think I put in my form comment that we're not in North Queensland today, and it's still come down here and got the job done. So, obviously it's gone enormous. really don't know what to do with Desert Lord. Like, you know, if that's, I know he hasn't been beaten a big margin, but you know, if that's as good as he's going to go up here, as what he's, you know, his last 2 runs have been pretty consistent. He did look like he did it in second gear last time, last start, and then this time, you know, he was never really comfortable in the run on the horse. It never sort of quickened like I thought it would. And it's sort of, I suppose he did chase a little bit. He did go a little bit quicker earlier this start than what he did the start before. At the speed in the race, it was slightly quicker. He settled sort of slightly closer, and overall he's run the same. And I thought he was just a run on the way home. So pretty disappointing there on those 2 results, really. And thanks for wanting to highlight those 2 this morning.
That's what I'm here for, Curls. Is just making sure that we're all kept on a level pegging, because like knows, I think I backed like everything that I backed ran either second, third, or cast. So anyway, big week ahead for you. You're obviously at Beaudesert there today. Any idea of what else is happening?
Ipswich Wednesday, and then Saturday, metropolitan meetings at Doomben, the provincial meeting at the Gold Coast, I think, and there's also the Warwick Cup. So Warwick's on the Darling Downs. It's just south of Toowoomba, about 80k. So I'll be heading down to Warwick to cover the mounting yard and bet live from Warwick. And yeah, that's basically going to be my week this week.
That sounds bloody outstanding. Curls, go enjoy Beaudesert. May the vengeance be on your side there today.
Is there any quick shout out to just a quick shout out to Georgie? Saturday night.
Oh yes,
what a woman! What a woman! She held
What a woman.
Thanks for bringing that up, mate. We had 2 units on Little Rog, I think it was, at 650 with Georgie Cartwright on board. I'm not going to say God bless her, but what she was able to do was just give us a heart attack from the 600 to the about the 50-metre point before the post. Held up all the way around the corner. Got out late, and then in the straight, couldn't steer it, tried to pull the stick, rolled back to the fence, and I thought we were going to get nutted by the horse down the outside. But no, when they win, they're the greatest in the world. So, yeah, God bless them for getting the result.
Bloody good.
At the end of that. I don't think there'll be many highlights coming out of today's meeting for those that are going to be able to see this in time. But last time I was at Beaudesert, I did 9.5 units, so and had to hitchhike home. So there's a body of water behind the betting ring here. So there could, just keep an eye on Twitter. There could be a chance that you see me floating in it face down. That's right. They're out in the yard here for the first. I'm going to go, boys.
All right.
All right, good luck today, mate.
Go well.
Cheers.
That was Currie, Shane Ciurleo, and now it is time to venture out west to the land of the golden wrought and of many fantastic stings, Kalgoorlie. All right, Josh. Now, we just need to quickly look at race 2, because we've been talking about the Turtle Award, or the Valium Award, whatever we're calling it, just horses that go slow to the 600. Now, race 2, they've gone 43.3 lengths slow to the 600. It is over 2,100 metres, so that is a start. But there was also a 2,200 metre race on the card, and they've only gone 0.4 of a second faster with an extra 100 metres, with 100 metres less in race 2. I don't think I've ever seen a figure that big.
And they've only just come home like 11 lengths better than standard.
Yeah.
Concerning for any form goers out of the race. It was one of those restricted 0 metro wins, wasn't it? So,
Yeah.
They're already pretty bad races. That'll be it for my comments on Kalgoorlie, but that's questionable.
Well, speaking of questionable, not that I'm suggesting there was anything suspect or anything like that, but race 1 is just a really bloody interesting case study, because it was a 7-horse field, and 4 of the 7 runners raced on Thursday. So the old 2-day backup. On that occasion, on Thursday, I had a decent-sized wager on Magical Rain, and it ran 4th. It's run 4th or 5th on Thursday, and Starden was $2.30 until I think it jumped odds on the fair. On Saturday, there was no cash from Magic Will Rain. It's drifted out to over $7 starting price on the fair, and it's basically pissed in. So I don't know how you're meant to do form for a race when 4 runners back up into a 7-horse field 2 days later. And really, you can't trust SP, I maintain, in WA at all. But you just have to stick to your guns. And last start gropers, it's just, you don't even worry about doing the form, do you, Dickens?
Yeah, we'll start sending them. But more importantly, I just would love to know, when it drifts, I want you to talk me through, and all our viewers through, how you feel when it's jumped and it's probably put into the race where you wanted it to be put in the race. How you feel at that point? How you feel at the 300 when you can tell it's probably going to run a race and probably win? And then the couple of minutes after the race, what happens inside that hutcho head of yours?
Oh, nothing happens in my head at the best of times. I was actually just laughing, actually. I lobbed in a perfect spot. The horse I had leading the race didn't quite kick up out of the gates. So it was taken up by a $13 shot, Tom Almighty, and Starden lobbed in the spot where I thought it would, basically outside the leader. But Starden's recorded basically the same figure as what it recorded on the Thursday. It's just that Magical Rain's gone a couple of lengths better. Don't really think there's anything to take out of it. It's such a wonderful place, Kalgoorlie, where betting drifts don't really define anything. Plungers can go awry. Mind you, the plunge in race 3, I See Red, it had one 400-metre trial leading into this event, and that 400-metre trial from memory was back in May. It won that trial by 0.4 lengths. Here it is, and just everyone seemingly in the entire of WA was on this horse. Odds on, pissed in. It's bloody outstanding. 400-metre trial, that's it. Sounds too good.
What's the week ahead look like for you?
I've got no idea. I'd have to check. I think probably Geraldton off the top of my head. No, it's Northam. It's Northam, then York, and then we're back at Ascot, which is outstanding because well and truly in need of a few properly run races on a track that's actually playing reasonable. It was a pretty dull card.
Big shout out to the wide receiver. He or she 3 from 3 so far. I feel like the straight sort of bet. Missed the Hail Mary. Got the unders in the Philly San Fran game. He's currently 7 to 8, a little bit through the third. So he's looking at 4 from 4, week 2. Big effort.
Yep. And Josh, week ahead for you. What are you up to?
Just crunching the data, Pete, I think. Just looking at some data. Be betting everywhere, anything. Can't tell you off the top of my head what I've got in store today on the bets, but there's some nice Canterbury, racing at Canterbury today.
I was going to say, you would have found one at Canterbury in race 2, surely.
Yep, I have.
Nicky's Fling or Sweet Reply.
Yep, Sweet Reply, definitely a data horse.
Yep.
Let's have a quick look. We're just loading up the data.
Nicky's Fling's drawn gate 1 for Kathy O'Hara.
Kathy.
Yep.
Kathy. Yep, definitely.
Yep.
We've got Nicky's Fling, Sweet Reply, and so we could, if the punters watch this before it's put out.
Almost certainly they won't.
My week is Bendigo Wednesday, which is a good meeting. Mornington on Thursday, we'll probably find 1 or 2. Cranbourne on Friday night, which should be good. Although there's a lot of rain around this week in Melbourne, and I'm right near Cranbourne, so worried. Same with Mornington. I'm sort of in between both. Caulfield Saturday for the Guineas, so big, and at Toorak, big week. It just gets hot from here on in. Hopefully we can get back on course. They're talking about being on course for the Valley, I think.
Wow, that's exciting.
Exciting horse in on Wednesday I've just seen. Race 8, number 2, Westbrook Park. Watch how it goes.
Ooh.
All right. You guys have been great. So have you, Darcy. And we'll catch up next week.